Who's drunk should preside over the meeting. So councillors protested and they called a multi-party discussion. That's what you saw when caucuses were called. Because first of all, is that councillors must elect, according to Structures Act, Section 29(1), is that in the absence of the Speaker and also the City Manager, MEC of COCTA can send a representative to preside over the meeting. We have seen that the representatives of COCTA are here. But the ANC, however, has requested the Speaker to come back and actually explain the process so that we follow the orders and rules of council and we don't have somebody who has been drinking to come and preside over council.
Okay, so what's happening now? You've ordered the Speaker to come back. Is she indicating she's coming back? What's the current situation? How are we moving forward with these motions of no confidence?
We have requested the Speaker. Now the Speaker must make a call if she wants to come back. If she doesn't want to come back, the option of the Structures Act says that then the MEC representative must take over the meeting. They are here with their own rules and ordinances from the province. They will be running the meeting in the case where the Speaker doesn't come. But remember, when we go to point D, which is the motion, because it affects the Speaker, she would not be allowed to preside over that. So somebody responsible like MEC, or in the absence of that, council itself can nominate, according to the rules, someone who is sober than the alleged person, which is Councillor Zweli Khumalo, who's alleged to be drunk, to come and preside over the meeting.
So are you still confident that today we're still going to go ahead with these motions of no confidence against the Speaker and the Mayor, Stevens Mokhalapa?
The meetings were planned properly. The procedure was followed according to Section 2A of the rules. So the ANC is confident that everything should go ahead. If the Speaker goes AWOL, the MEC office is here to preside over the meeting. Councillors also have a right to nominate one of their own, according to the rules, to preside over the meeting. So the meetings will go ahead.
And then what's your relationship with EFF? Are you guys still teaming together to ensure that these motions are successful?
According to the discussions of political parties before council, nothing has changed from last week. And you have seen last week that the ANC, the PAC, the EFF, we voted together. The status quo remains even in this meeting.
What happens when you successfully remove the mayor and the Speaker? Then how do we move forward? What happens?
Remember that all of us as councillors, we are mandated by communities to come here. The first thing that we must do is to go back to those communities and take a mandate, and also from the organizations that we come from. At the center of the program of the ANC is the people. So the people of Tshwane, after we have removed this, they must, through our branches and our structures, come back to us and say this is the way forward. The African National Congress has said that no one won elections in the city of Tshwane. A multi-party discussion must ensue where all parties are involved, and all those parties must take a decision in terms of how the city must be taken forward. So after this council, we'll go and consult with all parties that we work with, because it's not only the ANC that is voting today. We are working with the PAC, we are working with the EFF. Thank you very much.
Maybe just before I let you go, sir, what do you make of the stalemate? So currently there's a stalemate now. So how are you planning to resolve this current stalemate?
There is no stalemate as such. Kylie, there's no stalemate. What has happened so far is that the Speaker must take her responsibilities seriously and go back to her seat, and only when it gets to point D, where it affects her as the Speaker, she then recuses herself. But according to rules and orders of council, she's still the Speaker of council. She must follow the order book in terms of the agenda, unless the agenda is changed, but it is not changed. So she must come back and preside. And when it gets to point D, as I've explained earlier, everything will kick in according to Section 29A of the Structures Act in terms of meetings of council.
And how do you foresee things playing out today here? Do you think that, we're going to have a mayor by the end of the day?
What we are going to have in this council is that we are going to have decision on the motions that are going to be taken on the Speaker and later on the executive mayor. That surely is going to happen. And as I explained, after that, we have to kick in other processes, which will require all the multi-parties to go out and have a discussion.
And obviously, we've seen a number of political parties caucusing and trying to consult to reach a way forward, as it were. So what has been the conclusion there?
I didn't get the question.
So I've seen like a number of political parties, your members who are on the other side and the DA members also speaking there, consulting. So have you been able to reach any conclusion so that you can, in actual fact, resume? Because the residents of Tshwane, they are actually watching the proceedings. And of course, there's a great deal of disappointment in light of what you've seen here.
What we can assure the residents of Tshwane as the African National Congress is that we are here to vote out a government that has failed to deliver services. We are here as the ANC to make sure that this government is voted out. A government of the DA that has really limped from one scandal to the other. We promise the citizens that what we are here for is to make sure that when daylight tomorrow, Council will continue with delivering services. We are not here for any other individual interest as the political party. We are here to remove people that we have put in effort to show over the last year that they have been corrupt. You will know that in excess of 30 billion, there was a 12 billion rand led Africa scandal and 18 billion rand of Oricon scandal. And there is now a 1 million rand a month at Von der Boom Airport. So we are talking in excess of more than 30 billion rand. Remove that, and we want to allow a multi-party discussion, because we, as the ANC, we think we can only take Tshwane forward if we work in a multi-party arrangement.
Does that include possibly nominating yourself as ANC to take over Tshwane again?
The African National Congress has not come to that decision as yet. What we have come to a decision as is to work with other parties to eliminate the speaker and to eliminate and vote out the disgraced executive mayor.
So you haven't nominated a candidate from ANC to take over?
There is no vacancy, and therefore there can't be any nomination.
Well, I mean, there should be consideration, because that's where we're going eventually.
We are going now, SIPO, one step at a time. The step that we are in right now is to remove the executive mayor and to also remove the speaker.
So there isn't a potential candidate whatsoever shortlist?
We can't have candidates before we have removed the executive mayor, because only when a vacancy is declared, that's only when we can have candidates.
Thank you very much. That's the ANC in Tshwane just briefing us on developments in council, and saying that confidently that we will have the mayor and the speaker removed by the end of the day. But of course, there seems to be some delays that are currently taking place, but they're confident that the special sitting will carry on, and that Mayor Stevens Mokhalapa and the speaker will be removed. And with that, I expect you in studio.